Right, okay, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today's going to be my match preview for Chelsea versus Wolves, or Wolves versus Chelsea. Today, 3pm kickoff in the Premier League. We're going to go through some, obviously, talking points, the table. I'm also going to do a predicted lineup and the lineup I would personally play. So let's get into it. So, as I said, start off with a few talking points. Obviously, it's Frank Lampard's first game in charge. It's going to be very interesting. Obviously, hopefully we can get that new manager bounce in. Obviously, he's the caretaker manager. He will be in for the rest of the season. So, hopefully, we can get that new manager bouncing. Obviously, the players trying their best to get in the team, prove they have a future as we go into a vital summer transfer window. With obviously, we're going to look to offload a load of players. So, a lot of players are going to have a lot of stuff to prove. So, this could be, massive for us. Players will really go for it. Obviously, under a new manager, it's not like Bruno Salta, where at that time we expect him to be in for like a game or two. This is till the end of the season now. You're playing. These are vital games because, you don't perform in these, you're probably not playing to the rest of the season. Obviously, Lampard has said everyone's getting a clean slate. We're getting to what that could mean in the predicted lineup later on in the video. Let's not forget, Wolves really need this as well. It's not just we our players going to be up for this with a point to prove. Wolves need this. They're only 1 point above the relegation zone, as they are in like 14th or something. So they will fight for everything. So they will do everything they can to get points because they need it. That relegation battle was so close. They really need this as well. So do not write them off. Just like Southampton, just like any other relegation team, do not write them off because they will play for every single thing they possibly can. However, we have seen weaknesses in Wolves teams. In the last few weeks, we've seen them not playing to the whistle. So that's one thing I would say today. Play to the whistle. Play for as long as you can because Wolves will not, unless they're really good and turn around. The last few games I've seen Wolves, I think it was against Leeds where they end up, losing the game because they conceded a few goals where if they just stayed switched on, wouldn't have conceded. So play to the whistle. Try to put pressure on them because they've got mistakes in them. They haven't got mistakes in them. They can be a good team when they want to be, but they have got mistakes in them. So we've got to watch out for that. Obviously, their last 5 games, they've won 1, drew 1, lost 3, but they've had some tough games. 3 out of our last 5 games against Wolves have all been a draw. The other 2 was 3-0 win for us at the start of the season, if you remember, and also back in December 2020, where they beat us 2-1 at the Molineux. And if I'm not right, that would have been one of Frank Lampard's last games. Yeah, it would have been. So obviously, we're 11th right now. However, we're equal on points with Fulham 10th. Fulham, they're at home to West Ham at 3 o'clock today. And then you've got Brentford in 9th. From 29 games, they've got 43 points. So they are 4 points ahead of us. They're at home to Newcastle at 3 o'clock. So, that's going to be a hard game. And Liverpool, they're also 4 points ahead of us, but they've got a game in hand on us. They play Arsenal on Sunday at 4:30. Everyone could drop points possibly. Fulham, they should win, but you'll see it's not possible for West Ham. But looking at it, Brentford, they've got a very hard game. Liverpool, they've got a very hard game. So us and Fulham, this will be a chance for us to make up points, obviously. Hopefully, Fulham can lose and we can win and we can go back up to 10th. But every time we've had a chance to move up the table, we always seem to bottle it, so I don't want to get too confident. Obviously, there's Brentford and Fulham games, both the same time as ours as well. So let's get into the potential lineups or whatever now. Obviously, injuries, Thiago Silva's still out, Cesar Azpilicueta is still out, and Armando Broja is still out. Edouard Mendy, I believe, is back. Obviously, he was on the bench against Liverpool for the first time in a while, so he's back. And obviously, Raheem Sterling also came off the bench. So, what does this mean? A predicted lineup for what Lampard would play before we get into the lineup I would play. Obviously, Lampard said everyone gets a clean slate. Obviously, we know who his favourites are. So, I think Mendy in goal. Big fan of Mendy. And I've been saying this for a while now. I think I've always said that when Mendy's fit, he'll come back in for Kepa because Kepa's conceded goals he shouldn't have. And that's the truth. Rob Wanga like that, but it is. He works hard, but the truth, he should have saved a lot more of his goals. So Mendy, I think Lampard would want to bring Mendy back in, and I think that's probably the right decision. Obviously, he likes the 4-3-3, so we'll have Reece James at right back. Then I think it'll be Fofana and Badio Shield centre backs. Obviously, Fofana's been excellent last few games. And Badio Shield wise, I think obviously he's not in the Champions League squad, so rotation is a key thing. But also he's been really impressive as well. Left back Ben Chilwell of this one. In the free midfield, I think he'll play Kante at CDM. Enzo as more of in a bit more of a free role, we can join the attack or stay back as well. And obviously Mason Mount as well. See, Mason Mount's a no-brainer. N'Golo Kante's a no-brainer. Enzo Fernandez is a no-brainer. Maybe a little bit that for Kovacic because he's been really good recent. But I mean, just where can you fit Kovacic in that team? Because obviously we know he's going to go with Mount. We almost definitely know he's going to go with Mount. He's a massive fan of Mount. and we've seen he can get Mount to his very best, and when Mount's at his very best, we're a very good team. So that's almost an obvious one. Obviously, Enzo's just different gravy. He's absolutely excellent. Like, out of everyone in this team, he probably has the highest potential. Like, he's just brilliant. And obviously, Kante's Kante. Obviously, we saw him first game back from injury. Well, first start back from injury the other day, and he was just, I can't even think of a word for it. Absolutely brilliant, just fantastic as per usual. So it's almost impossible to shop Kante and Enzo. It obviously leaves three up front, and you've got a bundle of names to pick from. So I've gone with, as you can see, João Felix, Raheem Sterling, and Aubameyang. So that's a very interesting, controversial pick. Also, we do know Lampard's a big fan of Mudryk and Havertz. Obviously, he signed Havertz, signed Ziyech. He sort of signed Pulisic. Pulisic came in the season where he joined. And obviously, you've got Mudryk. He tried to sign with Everton for 30 million. So he ended up getting turned down. So them four we all know Lampard's a fan of, but I don't think any of them are going to start. I've gone with João Felix on the right, Raheem Sterling on the left. I think Sterling's also good when he's fit, so I expect he'll start. Maybe Mudryk in there. And I've gone Aubameyang up front. And I'll see, you guys know I'm a massive fan of Havertz, but I've gone Aubameyang because I think he said his goal was to try to fix his goal scoring problem. And what better way to fix his goal scoring problem than put an actual striker up front? Because I think, look at our last few games, you give some of his chances to Aubameyang, he puts them away. Like him or not, he puts them away. Because, goal scoring is bread and butter, and he's a brilliant goal scorer. So I think Aubameyang, also Lampard said about a clean slate. Whatever's happened behind the scenes with Aubameyang, I don't know if anything has happened, but if there has, that's all gone now. It's Aubameyang. And I'd back to start Aubameyang. Also, I talked about the Liverpool game, if that's a possibility. And I think this game seriously could be a possibility. And if we go into my lineup, then I've got a bit different. I've gone for a 4-2-3-1 compared to Lampard's 4-3-3. Obviously, Mendy and Cole agree with that one. But back four is the exact same. James, Fofana, Badiashile, Chilwell. Then centre mid, I have gone with Enzo, Kante. Them sort of two holders. And also, you've got a three behind the striker. I've gone Felix in the middle. Obviously, if Lampard's to play that formation, I'd probably be Mount there. I've got Mudryk on the left, Sterling on the right, then Aubameyang up front. So obviously, a lot of that same. Also, I've just sprung Mudryk in for Mount, basically. Then put him in a different position, different formation. I think Mudryk could be really good on that left. A bit of pace. I think we use Mudryk correctly. Like, watch Mudryk. I remember watching Mudryk against England for Ukraine, and he tries to make so many runs in behind, but doesn't get found. But I really do think with Enzo in that team, we really could be looking to make those passes to Mudryk and get him in behind. Because he's got unbelievable pace, and he's dribbling is fantastically good. So I think we just got to try to use Mudryk correctly. Obviously, he's still settling in, so we've got to give him time. But yeah, that's what I would go with. So yeah, what would you go with? What do you think Lampard's going to go with? Put them in the comments below. And yeah, that's it for today. Obviously, hopefully, big game. Hopefully, we can get the win. Hopefully, move up to 10th. Well, sounds miserable, but it's a game we need to win. Obviously, for the team, I wouldn't be surprised if you play a back three as well. You have to keep that in mind. The chance of back three, obviously, Lampard did switch from the back four and the back three for us. So that is obviously a very big possibility, especially when we've been playing very well with that recently. I guess we'll have to wait and see. That's the thing, no one has a clue what Lampard's going to go with, and high anticipation. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.